Hello friends, welcome back. When we last left off with redoing the bus, we had taken everything out and acquired some new materials, and today we are now going to put everything back together. The stove is behind us in the middle of the kitchen. It's now going to get moved here next to the refrigerator. We're going to build some new cabinets, and then we're going to get working on there's going to be a wall right here behind the wood stove, so we're going to get working on that. This is also where the mason jar holder will be that pulls out. We're going to tile that, and then later on tonight we're going to re-resin the floors. So stick around, we have a lot of fun things coming up, and if you missed the first video before all this happened, I will link it above so that way you can see what we started with. Do you have anything to add?
We're going to have fun doing it. The process of creation, my friends, it's always joyous.
It's a great balance because Azrael's really good with the building things, and I'm good with the cleaning, organizing, supervising, instruction.
The imagination as well.
The non-physical things, and then he takes care of the physical things, so it works out well. Alright, cool. Stick around. So over here, the stove was here. We're going to move it to over here, and then this cabinet or shelf and cabinet here, we're just moving to over here. And that's to make it so that here next to the sink, we can stand this way to do dishes, where normally we stand on this side. But this side, here, where the tape is where the new cabinet's going to be, which will block the hallway. Mason jar holders going in here. So to get into when this shelf is in here, this cabinet, you'll have to walk around to get in. And then the floor is a different color down here, but there's a good, there's a gap here. And so what's gonna happen is we're gonna pour resin, and this whole area will get covered up with resin, and then we're gonna do a whole nother layer of glitter, so you're actually barely going to notice it. So now the wall can go in right here, which will separate the front area from the back. And just so you can see, we got the stove in here. That cabinet's now in there. We gotta put doors on it. It's gonna be like Lazy Susan style doors. So just chugging away. We are back at it today. I wanted to just show you this area over here is behind the wood stove, and so it got tiled. We use liquid nails to adhere them because of the constant rattling of the bus. I wanted something a little stronger than mortar. It was adhered with the liquid nails, and then we will grout over it once that dries.
Do you mind?
These?
Yep.
This is the track that will hold the mason jar holder, which is here behind the wood stove. And since this does get hot, that's why we have the tile going in here, and there will be a wall right here, which the mason jar holder will sit against. That will also have tiles similar to those. It's looking good. And last time we did it, the track to keep it from going anywhere was this white 2x4 up here, which is fine for us, but anytime somebody walks in the bus who's over the height of what, like 5'8", 5'9", they whack their head on that. And so he worked out a different way to brace it this time, with the track on the floor and then the piece of wood here, which will hold it in place as it slides. And no wood at the top. I have the door or tiled up. This will be for the back wall where the mason jar holder is going to be. And again, this is to help with any heat from when we run the wood stove. This helps to be a fire block. The other side of the wood stove has thick metal that is much lighter. Metal is the lightest possible material, and we do try to think about our weight when working on the bus. But these are wall tiles and they are not that heavy. So we're gonna let these dry and then we will grout it. And then we're gonna come through and cut the corners. But for now, I'm just cooking up some grub. I got some veggies and more veggies. We have the remnants of that hurricane barrel coming this way, and so we have to definitely get this all tiled up and get this installed. We went through and Azrael cut the edges just with an angle grinder. I tried to do it with the tile cutter we had, but it only really did straight lines. So now I'm going to go through and grout it.
Astrologers can some of it out. Also an interesting time for minimalism and for yard sales or selling things off.
This is the little half wall to go next to the stove. It's going to go on as a wall of the cabinet that we're building. And now I'm going to grout it. We're here with the cabinet. We got shelves in. Working on the top shelf. And that's where the tiles I just showed you are going to be going. Those are going to go right in this open space here, because this is the space for the stove. The bottom part of the cabinet is built. This one is over here by the front door. This one is all done. We just need to attach the curtain permanently. All the paint is going to get touched up. We have more green paint. And so we're going to build the top part of here. The stove will go back. And then we're going to build the shelves for here. while we have the white paint out, redoing trim. We're just throwing a quick coat on the ceiling. Be amazed how many fingerprints, things make the ceiling look dirty. To talk really quick about the beauty in change. I've done this ever since I was a little kid. Whenever a space, like my bedroom, would become overwhelming because it'd be dirty or whatever, or I wouldn't feel creative or I wouldn't feel motivated in that space, I would go through it and I would take everything out and then I'd look at it with fresh eyes and I'd slowly start putting everything back in and reorganizing and like making it fresh again. And then when we had apartments, I used to do it, and then when we had our homestead, I used to do it. And part of that, when it's your own place, is you can redecorate. But we've been living on the road now for almost 3 years, and we now we have a routine, not even a routine, we kind of like know how we want to do it, we know how we're living. And so with that being said, it gives us the opportunity to do things just a little bit differently and to rework the space. For instance, right now, I'm standing here in the kitchen. You can see that's my bed right back there. And then there's the kids' bunks, and there's the living room. And while when we first started, we loved the openness of it. Now that we really only use the space more functionally when we want to have like we'll go lay on the grass outside. And so we don't need as much like lay around spaces, we need more functional spaces. And so like when I want to film for the Schoolie Chef Shaina page, in the kitchen, everyone back there, no matter what they're doing, they're like within the space of what I'm doing. And so now with the refrigerator here, we're gonna have a bookshelf on top of it, and then the pathway there, so it'll create more of a private space, so everyone has their own. You know, if Azrael's meditating in the back, it's a lot harder to stay within oneself. Now, it's great practice, but if someone's sleeping in and I want to come film at 3 in the morning, well, this makes it so I'm not disturbing anyone. So, yeah, we're just reworking how we function within the space, and it's a beautiful way as human beings how we can change something around, and then it helps us it reignites creativity. That's usually what it has always done for me. It's made me feel like a newfound creative juices start flowing, because like as I'm creating it, I'm moving things around, I'm being creative, and then all of a sudden it's like the marble effect. I'm just rolling downhill, and when I'm done, I'm now creating beautiful art and making things with copper, and yeah. So, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'll get back to painting now. When I was doing the grout, the reason why they have those like fancy spacers is because when you're putting them on the wall, this gap, you want it to be the same. So I just took pieces of cardboard and folded them. It's such a small space. The cardboard I can burn when I'm done with it, as opposed to those little tiny plastic pieces that they sell that I'll then have to throw away or, you know, sit in a landfill. So, especially the space is so crooked anyway, a lot of this we're gonna end up having to fill in, like this gap here. I made it like that purposely to then fill in with grout. Same thing here, like there's no straight corner here. So it's just making do with what we got. We're on day 10 of our renovation here. This is the space where the kids' bunks are, here next to the shower. We have them all dismantled. This is the side opposite, next to the toilet. This is where our old couch was and is going. And this is essentially the layout of the kitchen. The layout's not changing. This is the back of the mason jar holder. We got the tile all put up there. The tiles all put up here. We just are going to, I have to grout it and then we'll trim around the top. And then we're gonna do just white board up there because we have things like our toothbrush holder and soap holder that stay on the wall, so we will keep that there. I have all the tile completed. I just have to clean it up just a little bit, but all the trims put on, fresh coat of paint on everything. The only thing we have left to do is the old tile is still here in the sink surround. So what is going to happen is we're going to pour resin in there because we have to reseal it. It started coming up. We didn't do it thick enough here before. We didn't have enough. So we're going to do it a little bit thicker, and we're going to add some coloring into it with like gray and copper, which is why the edging here, I went with gray because A, it matches the grout. They didn't have yellow or the green, and I didn't want to do white there because the sink is gray and everything. So I'm going to kind of tie all that together. But that's all done. We just have to hang the knife rack and our toothbrushes back. That's all done. I just have to put the dish rack back over there. The space is all painted. Completed. This space painted and completed. So the only thing left to do here in the kitchen is to redo the floors, which we will be doing this weekend because that seems to be the best time. This space is all done. Again, that tile. The only thing I'm left to do here now is repaint to the ceiling. This one little section did not get repainted yet, so I got some more paint and I'm gonna paint the ceiling. And then onto the living room and the kids' bunks. In total, with the one box of green tiles, one box of yellow tiles, and then I got this one smaller box with these edger tiles. These were $2, this was $1, this was $1. This is what I have left after all the tiling's done. And the reason I wanted to show this is because I have this mantra that whatever we need will be provided for us. As human beings, we try to control everything and plan everything down to like the micro details, and sometimes life gets in the way. And what life does is it offers you the opportunity to have faith, that faith being that anything that we need will be provided for us, if it is something we truly need.